A lot of the kids will actually be able to get to hold their fish. You'll see the light shine when they do catch that fish, and it can be a 2-inch fish or it could be a 12-inch bass. Like they don't care as long as they bring something up and they're having a good time. That's what it's about.
Welcome to In the Parks, an Indiana State Parks podcast. I'm Allison Martin, and I'm excited to tell the stories of these amazing places in the Hoosier State. I think our parks show off the best of Indiana, but there's so much more to them than you might expect. So it's time to go in-depth to really know the stories and discover what makes each destination unique and valuable as part of Indiana. On In the Parks, you'll learn about the people, legends, and places that formed Indiana's parks in the past and who is writing the story now. As we head into the summer, I want to highlight some of Indiana's lake properties, so you can have the best lake life summer ever. So today, we're going to Summit Lake State Park. Summit Lake State Park in Newcastle joined the Indiana State Parks family in 1988, but the concept of it was born in the 1950s by residents of Henry County. Initially, a flood control structure on the Big Blue River created Summit Lake, but the dam closed in 1980, so its purpose wasn't for long-term flood control. The dam was there to create a recreational facility. Now it's surrounded by woods, wetlands, and prairie. The park's big draw is definitely the water, although there are some nice trails on the property as well. If you're planning a lake life summer, this would be an excellent park for camping, fishing, kayaking, canoeing, swimming, bird watching, and casual hiking. For park property manager Nikki LaCrone, Summit Lake is the ideal spot because of her favorite hobby and a core memory she has in this very park. While she enjoys the trails the park has, she said,
"But I also love fishing. I have a passion for fishing. That's what we do. My husband and I, we have a boat and we go fishing. We take the kids fishing. And this is the first place that I ever caught a bass in Indiana."
Nikki's background in the park system actually starts with the Florida state parks, but with family in Henry County, she was eager to work in Indiana. She's worked at Fort Harrison, Mounds, and Cataract Falls and Lieber State Recreation Area before moving to Summit Lake. While many state parks have lakes, a few things set Summit Lake apart today.
So the unique thing about our lake is that we aren't a flood control lake. We're not run by Army Corps of Engineers. This lake was built for recreation by the Blue River Conservancy District back in the day. And it was a long process to get the lake to fill up. It took about 10 years for the lake to fill. And once it did, the fisheries started in with stocking the lake. The plant aquatic guys are reporting that we have a wide variety of species of plants, so it makes our lake really nice and clean. And then as far as growth for bass fishing, it's excellent bass fishery. Bluegill and crappie, they're biting right now. There's tons of people fishing in the lake, and we're also idle only. So that keeps out some of the jet skiers and the wave rockers that the fishermen aren't super keen on. But it makes it an excellent kayaking lake. So that's why we created the kayaking challenge or the paddling challenge, because you can do it on any form of boat.
So while some lakes were made in lower areas to help with water flow or have dams which can lead to ever-changing water levels, Summit Lake's water levels are more consistent and clean. When I went in April, it was after we'd had over a foot of rain across most of the state in a really short span of time. While many parks experienced massive flooding and had trails closed, Summit Lake's water levels were high, but they didn't have severe flooding and were still able to keep their trails open. Another reason why Summit Lake doesn't deal with flooding is because, oddly enough, this part of the state is at a higher elevation than the rest of Indiana. Summit Lake gets its name because it's one of the highest places in the state, and it's not too far from the actual highest point.
But as the crow flies, about 20 minutes away, you can get to the highest spot in Indiana. So that's why we're called Summit Lake.
That's really interesting. I guess I would never have assumed that this area would be the highest point in the state.
I didn't either. I always assumed it was like Brown County because you see the hills and the mountainous area. But no, Hoosier Hill is the highest natural point in the state of Indiana of 1,257 feet above sea level.
So yes, Hoosier Hill is the highest point in Indiana at a whopping 1,257 feet high. No risk of altitude sickness here. Nikki said she'd been there before.
It's just a small strip next to a treed area and then a farm. And you have to walk up this little hill. It's a tiny little sign with a mailbox that you can sign in and put where you're from, and a little plaque that says it's the highest point in Indiana with a bench. And there's a little trail that goes through the woods. That's it. It's not super glamorous, but it's pretty cute when you go in there.
I wavered a bit, but in the end, I wanted the bragging rights. So I drove about 20 minutes to Lynn, Indiana, found Hoosier Hill, and managed to survive the arduous hike to the top. All kidding aside, it really is a humble but sweet little spot. there's a stone marker on the road next to the gravel drive, so you know you're in the right place. I parked and walked up a very short, not very steep hill to a little wooded area that looked exactly as Nikki described. Another stone marked the elevation, longitude, and latitude. I signed the registry in the mailbox, surprised to discover I was the third visitor that day, and the previous person was from Kansas. I looked out over the farm below, and that was it. Simple and unassuming. If you're at Summit Lake, especially if you're camping here, I think it's worth the drive, so check the show notes for the precise address. Also, Hoosier Hill was only 10 minutes from the Levi and Catherine Coffin House in Fountain City, which is now an Indiana State Museum property. The Coffins were Quakers and abolitionists. Their home was called the Union Depot of the Underground Railroad, and they helped over 2,000 enslaved people find their way to freedom. I was really bummed I came through on a Monday when the museum and tours of the house were closed, because I think this would be a really powerful place to visit. I also kept seeing signs for the Wilbur Wright Birthplace Museum in nearby Hagerstown. It would all take a little drive, but worth it if you want to make a weekend of it. What a treasure this area is. So as you prepare for your perfect summer, know that the Summit Lake staff has been working for months to get the park ready for you. First, they're checking all the docks are fixed and they're prepping the beach.
So we have a designated swimming area. It's roped off, it's by the beach, and it's open seasonally from Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day.
And they've been getting the campground ready for you too. They check all the water lines and flush those. They add stone or gravel to each site to ensure they're level.
We have water at every campsite, which is kind of not necessarily unique to us, but most campgrounds only have like 4 or 5 fill stations throughout the property. We have water at the sites.
The park has over 100 electric campsites and youth tent camping as well. And the setup is really nice.
I remember when I did the kayak challenge, there were a lot of the campsites that were like right up along the water. They just looked really, really pretty. And it seemed like they were really well spaced from each other. Like I feel like some campgrounds you see they're right up next to each other, but it felt like you could have a lot of privacy as well. They looked really pretty.
We have a lot of buffer zones in between, and people really appreciate that type of privacy. You can see, okay, this is my site. I can set my tent here, or I can set my camper up here, and then you can have your fire right on the water, in our fire rings, of course. And those water sites, they're rented all summer long. So we tell people, 6 months to the day, you can start booking up, and all summer, any of those sites on the water are reserved for the entire time. So definitely book well ahead of time if you're planning on a water site.
Aside from the great camping vibes, Summit Lake holds that special place in Nikki's heart because of catching her first bass in Indiana here as a kid, and for another strong memory she has.
One of my earliest memories is eating bluegill in the morning, with eggs, fish and eggs, and that was just a super fond memory that I've been able to pass on to my kids.
Fishing isn't something I grew up doing. I think I have one vague memory of my dad, a fishing rod, and a grassy embankment, but that's it. But as someone who enjoys the water, nature, and a little solitude, I can see the appeal of fishing. Nikki was very encouraging for anyone interested in trying it out.
You can definitely start fishing at any age. You can do it for cheaply. The annual fishing license is $24, and that gets you for the entire year. You don't necessarily have to catch anything to be a successful fisher person. You get that time to just think, and you're not sitting on your phone and texting. You're not sitting in the office being stuck. You actually just get to go out there, and maybe the osprey is going to catch a fish before you do. And that's okay. He shows me up all the time. So there's more to it than just saying, hey, I brought home fish for dinner. And a lot of people don't even keep their fish. You're welcome to. But a lot of people just like the experience. We definitely invite everybody to come out, and if they have any questions, they can stop in the office and we'll get you hooked up.
Yep, they'll get you hooked. Nikki was really proud of how well maintained Summit Lake is.
The lakes get reviewed, I think, every 5 years by our aquatics department and every couple years by our fisheries department. And each year this lake comes back as a pristine lake, super high quality lake for the central region. In 2016, it was like one of the best fishing lakes in the country. There is a known fishery here. And we get a ton of fishing tournaments out here as well, and they're well attended.
What else makes the fishing so good?
We get stocked with walleye and perch. They'll rotate each year, and then they did catfish not too long ago too. So one year they'll do walleye, the next year they'll do perch, and do that rotations to keep us with a good game fishery.
When you're on the lake like this, are there spots that are like the kind of the best spots, or do you not want to reveal those because as a fisherman you kind of like keep your best places to yourself?
Yeah, so a lot of times when they're like, oh, where'd you catch all those fish? It's in the lake. But it depends on what you're fishing for. I like to bluegill and crappie fish, So any type of cove that you can find is generally decent. I like to go to the North Ramp Cove, but that's the only spot I'm going to give away.
You gotta keep a few secrets.
Yeah, any place where you can see some of the tree stumps still, those make good spots. We did put out some fish habitat out at the ADA fishing dock right there, and I do know that there's more throughout the lake as well that have been built over time. So, and there's more to be planned to be put out too.
Okay, I tried to find the best spots, but sounds like you'll have to do it yourself. Nikki also told me about the best way to introduce your kids to fishing.
If somebody's like, okay, I kind of want to get into fishing, are there some things that are like the entry level, here's what I should get, or they wanted to get their kids started in it, what do they get?
Yeah, so actually we have our youth fishing derby on June 7th, and we invite all the kids to come out. It's free fishing day, so nobody has to have a fishing license, because generally you have to be an adult and have a fishing license, and then your kids can fish for free. But that weekend, it's totally free as far as the fishing goes. There's still the gate fee, but a lot of people buy the annual passes. So we're giving out 100 tackle boxes that are already stocked because of donations. Our Amazon wish list was posted and people filled that, and the Henry County Destination, the tourism development group, they bought a bunch of our empty tackle boxes for us so we could stuff them. And then we have a local group that supports it as well with giving away t-shirts and doing registration. So biggest fish, best catch, smallest fish, all those will win a prize, that, and they get a whole bunch of door prizes as well. So for entry level, for kids, bring them out for the youth fishing derby for sure. Because if you need help setting up a rod or even putting bait on, we will do that for you.
That's fantastic. And 100 kids are going to walk away with basically everything they need to fish.
Yes.
That's really
very
cool.
nice starting tackle box. You have to bring your own pole. If you don't have one, we have some that you can borrow. But
is that as easy as going to any sporting goods place, even Walmart, and buying a rod? Like, you don't need anything super fancy?
Oh, for sure. No, you can go and you can either buy those little kids' princess rods. They'll all work. Just need to put a worm at the end of it. And kids of all ages were catching fish last year just on the shoreline. You don't have to have a boat to go fishing.
Even if you're not so sure about touching worms or a fish, the Summit Lake staff will help your kid create a great memory.
We're there to go and help take the fish off the pole. We're there to help bait if need to. So,
just to get kids used to it and familiar, and then maybe they realize, okay, it's not gross, it's not slimy, it's actually kind of fun and exciting.
And a lot of the kids will actually be able to get to hold their fish and take that, epic photo of the kid holding their first fish. And some kids don't want to, so we'll hold it for them and step out of the photo, and you'll see the light shine when they do catch that fish. And it can be a 2-inch fish or it could be a 12-inch bass. Like they don't care as long as they bring something up and they're having a good time. That's what it's about on that day.
So if you challenge your kid to a fishing contest, be ready because they might catch something bigger than you do. If the kid in your life loves nature, outdoors, or science, even if they're not into fishing, they might like joining the park this summer for their free Nature's Classroom program. It's for any school-aged kid, and listen to all the experts who are coming out to teach kids this summer.
We have the cultural director, the interpreter manager, the natural resource director, conservation officers, fisheries guys, biologists coming out to give talks on what they do and try to do like a 101. So we're doing a birding 101, tracks, fish. They come out, we do a program, we do a craft afterwards, and they're going to walk away with a nature journal by the end of it. So they've put together that this week I was this kind of scientist. We've got a snake coming from Fort Harrison, and we've got the entomologist coming to talk about different bugs and how to ID them.
This sounds so fun. I want to learn the animal tracks, and I wish I lived a little closer so I could go every Thursday. Kids will get to dissect owl pellets, make bird feeders, celebrate Smokey Bear's birthday, and get to interact with local experts from places like the Muncie Astronomy Club. At the end of the summer, kids will have such great experiences and memories made in the outdoors. Even without fishing or dissecting owl pellets, I've made my own memories after visiting Summit Lake twice. Once in early September when it was warm and I got to do some kayaking, and the second time in early April when it was sunny but brisk, so I stuck to the trails. There are 6 trails and they're all fairly easy, plus one is ADA accessible. The trail I did in September is Trail 1, and this is the spot for summer wildflower viewing.
Trail 1, it's our prairie trail. When the state park took over, they cleared a lot of that area and planted a bunch of wildflowers, Indiana native wildflowers. So recently we actually burned most of that plot. So this summer it should be a spectacular show. Midsummer is normally about when the balloon is happening, and we try to post those kind of things on our Facebook page because people always ask, is it time? Is it time? The nice thing is when they are showy, I mean, it is just gorgeous. There's yellow and purple and pink all throughout those prairies, and I don't think people necessarily expect to see so much bloom in a field. It's a neat process. It's about two miles. If you take Trail 5, it goes up through our wooded area, down into Trail 1 around the prairie, and it goes around the lake, so it's a great place to take a picnic. And you'll see a ton of monarch butterflies and swallowtails go through.
I walked on Trail 3 in April, which has great views of the water, benches along the path, storyboards, and it pops out by the beach.
Trail 3 is a stone trail, and it is ADA friendly, compliant. It has what we call the Eagle Tails trail on there. It's kind of like a story trail, but a 4-H'er developed this story about an eagle, and it's a very educational trail that we try to take all the kids on when we do our programs down by the beach.
There are also updates coming to Trail 6 that will definitely keep my fishing friends happy.
We are actively revamping one of our trails right now. It's Trail 6, the Sunset Trail. If you go back through there, we had a 16-acre project that we did removing invasive species, mostly autumn olive, bush honeysuckle. And we're going to be rerouting that Trail 6 to follow the shoreline of the lake to create little picnic spots and fishing spots. So that'll be like our fisherman's trail, because we have really good shoreline fishing, and we just want to be able to give more access to that.
If mobility is a concern and you're wondering how you can get great wildflower views, the Summit Lake staff has you covered.
We have a lot of people that just do drive-throughs on the park because they can't walk as much or whatnot. So we have other little prairies that are micro prairies similar to what's on Trail 1. So if you can't access those, down at the south ramp, both sides have the same prairie plantings or wildflower plantings as Trail 1 does. So you can still see the color and the butterflies and the birds that it brings in.
I really appreciated the park's intention to make the park accessible to people no matter their age or mobility needs.
Last year, we also installed an ADA fishing dock down at the south ramp too. So we're trying to extend as much accessibility as possible. We expanded our campground playground with an accessible swing and play area. We're hoping to design and install this summer like a sensory trail over by Sunset. Have you heard of the autism trails that they have? To try and have something similar to that out there. So it's like a calm, peaceful place, a lot more of the nature play. So there's going to be sticks to stack up like Lincoln logs. There's going to be logs to jump and play on. And it's short grass, so you can see the entire trail, so no one can get lost. It's going to be very friendly.
Summit Lake is definitely a park to add to your list this summer. But if you've never been there, or even heard of it before, you're not alone. Even the assistant property manager hadn't heard of it before she showed up.
My name is Heather Zangler. I'm the assistant here at Summit Lake.
Heather has been at Summit Lake for 3 years. She came from the State Forestry Department, but wanted to work in the state parks instead. The park was a new one to her.
To be perfectly honest, I had never heard of Summit Lake before Nikki had contacted me. But when I came up here to talk to her and kind of fell in love with the area and the lake, and was super excited to go into the interview when that happened. So I interviewed and got the job and have been here for about 3 years.
So now that you've been here, how would you describe Summit Lake to somebody who maybe was like you and has never really heard of the property before?
So Summit Lake is an amazing place to come out and kayak, fish. We have some trails. The big draw in is the lake itself. We have the first interactive kayak trail challenge here, so that's pretty cool, and I got to work on that for a few years.
The kayak challenge was my first challenge to fail. I got maybe a third of the way finished. I definitely need to work on that upper body strength. It's 2 5K loops and was a truly beautiful way to see the property. Heather ushered the challenge into the 21st century by helping create the website, QR codes, and official signs. As you paddle the lake, scan the codes to learn more about the park. Nikki shared a little bit more about the challenge with me too.
We have the 2 Kayak Trail Challenge, which has 11 different spots, interactive spots that you can take a picture with and it's got a QR code on it. It'll have a nice little interpretive blurb about that one location. Like we have one set up where the old road used to be. It's an excellent birding spot. We have migratory birds that come through, unique migratory birds. So we have the white pelicans, they just left Monday. That was the last day that I've seen them. We have an osprey nest. It's very active. They've been super successful. The eagles are on the north side of the lake. They are also very out in the public, so people can see the hatchlings. They can see the whole process of growth. We have mergansers and buffleheads. People come here. I met a guy from Africa 2 weeks ago. He was out here and he was check marking his lifetime bird list, and he was looking for the merganser. And I said, you need to go check out North Ramp, because that's the last time that I've seen him was hunting out there. And he came up and he's like, I got him. He was so excited about it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was such a unique story. And he's like, I've been out west. I haven't been able to get the Roadrunner, even though I've gone out many times. But over here, I was able to check off so many of my birds. For that to be his main goal, and for us to be able to give that to him, that's one of those experiences that he'll remember forever, and I'll remember that story too.
Hearing both women talk about the challenge has me ready to go back and try again, not only for the lake enjoyment, but also for that bird watching, which Heather has gotten into as well.
So I've become a little bit of a birder. I'm really into raptors. My mother is a huge backyard birder, and she likes to come out here, and I love to take her out to see the pelicans and the eagles and the osprey that we have out here. And she was actually here 2 weekends ago, and I got to take her over to the eagle nest, and she got to see, although we haven't seen the eaglets yet, you can tell that she's sitting up on the nest, and so my mom was super excited to get to see that.
Seeing that bald eagle nest was a real highlight for me. To get to it, you have to drive about 10 minutes out of the park, around the lake to the property edge. There are some signs telling you it's an eagle nesting area. You'll pull over on the side of the road, but there were other people doing that when I was there. Be sure to bring binoculars or a zoom camera lens to see them well. When I was there in April, the eaglet was too small to see, but it was clear mom or dad was feeding the baby in the nest. I'm not sure when eaglets leave their nest, so hopefully if you go soon you can still see them. If you want to see the osprey, you can double up and also work on that paddling challenge, because the only way to see their nest is from the water. Here's Nikki again.
So the osprey, the best place to see them would be via boat or kayak, because their nesting pole is on the dam and the island blocks the view from the south ramp.
Any plans to put cameras on them like they have some of the ones out west?
We've talked about doing that for the osprey, because you have to have Wi-Fi, and we have Wi-Fi over at the wastewater plant, which is near the dam and near the nesting pole. So we've talked about trying to get that set up for the osprey nest. The eagle nest is not near a location where we could do that, but I think we're going to try and get that osprey live cam set up.
If you have any expertise on that, reach out to Nikki, because it would be really cool to have in Indiana. It made me curious about the osprey and how often the birds are at Summit Lake.
Is it the same birds who are constantly nesting there? Or is it like a large group of them? Is it a pair that's mates? Like, what are the birds like, do you know? Sure,
they've been there since 2017. It's the same mated pair. They'll come back each year just like an eagle would and build onto the nest, and they migrate just like our eagles do. We kind of know when spring's happening, because the eagles will come up in late January, February, work on their nest, start sitting. Then we'll see the pelicans come in for 6 weeks. When the pelicans are about ready to fly out, we know that the eagles should be hatching, and that's when the osprey should be sitting on their nest. So we kind of have a nature timeline of our own out here, so it's kind of fun to follow.
Ready to go visit Summit Lake? Well, the summer season kicks off on Memorial Day weekend with a cute bike parade at the campground. But the park's events extend way past the summer season, so you can have a lake life summer even in the fall. Nikki and Heather were both really excited about their Halloween events.
So our biggest events is hands down our fall events.
Our Halloween events are definitely the big draw in. The Touch a Truck event that we have has been a huge success over the past few years, and we get a whole bunch of different and growing different trucks to come out. Between dump trucks, we got a cement truck last year.
We have tractors from local excavation companies that'll come out. We had 18 different unique pieces of equipment or trucks out.
REMC comes out and they actually give like bucket trucks, like rides to kids, which is super fun and a big draw. And then being able to go through, like, they all hand out candy and whatnot to all the kids. So that's probably my favorite event and one that I always try to work every year.
Yeah, getting a bucket truck ride would be amazing as a kid.
My stepdaughter got me to go into it last year. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then she's like, will you go up with me? And I'm like, I would love to. And it was actually pretty cool to see the lake from that.
And just when you thought that was great enough, there's more.
And then October 18th is our Spooktacular Camping, which everybody Like, in fact, I had a call today about trying to get in for that, and it's 6 months today, but people will reserve the Tuesday and Wednesday beforehand to get a spot for that. But it's where the kids walk around in the campground. It's basically like walking to 120 houses right within that little local area.
The public is invited to these events too. It's not just for campers, so save the date. Summit Lake is a perfect place to get away for the day or for an overnight camping vacation. Heather had a great tip for everyone visiting, no matter the season. Be sure to perfectly time your view from the appropriately named sunset shelter.
One of the cool things that I think we have on the lake, sunrise and sunsets, you can't beat them. I always recommend people, if they're coming out here and want to stay that late in the day, to definitely check a sunset out on the lake.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how awesome this place is in the summer, and hopefully you get there soon.
You can't beat the area out here. It's gorgeous. I definitely was not expecting this when I came out here, and it's an awesome hidden treasure.
A big thank you goes to the Summit Lake staff who shared their time and knowledge with me. Thank you Nikki Lacrone and Heather Zengler for telling me how to find the eagles, but keeping the best fishing spots to yourselves. In the Parks is not officially associated with Indiana DNR, but I'm more grateful than ever for all of the incredible work they do for our parks. Please share this podcast with your friends, and if you could, leave it a positive review on your favorite podcast platform. You can follow along on Instagram and Facebook at In the Parks Online for more state parks content and my recommendations for the best places to get ice cream near each park. After kayaking and hiking, I went to, I kid you not, Weenie World, which had great ice cream. And they bought up all those old quarter grocery store rides and turned their front picnic area into a very fun little play place for kids. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the parks.